Welcome to another episode of Orange Perspective. Let me just say one thing before we get started. This podcast is really all about like internal issues and helping people understand who we are as a company that works for us. Maybe eventually we'll be more than that, but we are starting with things that are important to us, and we don't really care what everybody else thinks. And so here we are with Will, and he's my next guest. Will, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about why you're here. I know why you're here, but tell our audience why you are here sitting on this stage with me.
I was asked last week if I wanted to be on the podcast.
You said yes.
I said yes. Talk
right.
a little bit about marketing, my role here, how long I've been here, all that kind of good stuff, and what the future holds for Activate and Breakout in the marketing world.
Awesome. So let's get into it. What is your role, and what do you do day to day?
My official title, is Director of Marketing for Activate and Breakout Games. Been here for actually a year and 6 months to almost to the day.
Man.
Pretty close to it.
Okay.
September of 21 is when I came on board. And my day-to-day, it depends, but for the most part, bunch of meetings, 4 or 5 meetings a day, something like that. And then we're assessing, looking at a lot of analytics, a lot of talking with the teams about a lot of different projects we have going on, planning out the next 2-3 quarters in advance. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of looking at data, a lot of making decisions on the fly.
Okay, so that's what I was about to ask you. I was about to ask you about being fun. So in my mind, marketing is supposed to be the fun department. I don't know if that's true, but traditionally that's what I think about. I don't think that's true in our company because I'm on the operations side, and I believe that operations are way more fun. And it's always been a joke with Bryce and I, but I believe we have more fun, mainly because I like to party a little bit. But having said that, you are talking about marketing and you're talking about analytics and numbers and all that. So tell us how that is fun. Where's the fun come from?
The fun comes from identifying our target guest and convincing them to come play and seeing the return on our investment from what we put into that.
Okay, let's start with identifying. How do you identify the target guest?
So we use various analytics platforms that can give us an idea of what the typical gender is for a guest at Breakout, for instance.
Okay, wait. I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
What define? I'm going to get down to I think that all this is great, and I think everybody's really, really interested in all of what you do and how we do it. Define analytics first.
Okay, so analytics is data that is attributed to an individual person. So everybody on the web has data that's collected from them. It doesn't matter if you're using even some of those private browsers, there's still access to what type of computer you're using, if you're on a mobile phone, if you're on a desktop, if you're a man, a woman, unspecified, your age, and you opt into all of these things.
You know all that about me right now.
I know all of that about everyone in this building right now.
That's a little scary, but
I can create an ad that will target just you here in Lexington.
Okay.
And
challenge accepted. Do it.
All right, I'll spend it. Right? Where's my budget for this?
That is interesting.
It's terrifying and awesome at the same time.
It's awesome for us as a business, right?
It's great for us
We can
as a
target
business.
exactly who we want. Yep.
Yeah, we can drill down to exactly who we want to be in our stores.
Yeah.
So we use data from case studies. We use data from competitors that have put out white papers and stuff like that. We use data from our own website, since we are the largest escape room company in the U.S. in terms of number of stores, and we do have a lot of data that comes through, and so analytics comes from analyzing and looking at that raw data and then interpreting what that means. So, for example, some of the things that we look for on a day-to-day basis, or we look at are, what's like breaking out our customer segments. So we're interested in it right now in this current time period of getting families into Breakout.
Okay.
We think that families are going to be a huge thing coming in this next few months, especially if we go into a recession. And so the whole family unit, people, single mothers with multiple children, all of that kind of thing. And what we want to do is we look at where those individuals are in terms of their customer journey. So how many times have they been to our page? How many times have they made a purchase decision on our page?
Okay.
Whether that's buying an escape room or just going to our booking page and looking at that. And then so what we do is we take that data and we create some ads for different platforms. So we take ads for Facebook and Instagram. We do ads on Google. We do ads. We will be doing ads on CTV, which is like Hulu and Fubo TV and YouTube TV and all of that kind of stuff. We'll be doing ads on those platforms as well.
Wow.
And
we're doing them currently, or we're about to?
We're about to for CTV.
So we'll be like watching Hulu or something, and
you'll
just
see.
pop up, like,
You'll see an ad. Yep.
A new way to play.
Yep. Breakout too.
Okay.
So
cool.
you'll see a lot of the Wild West videos that'll be on
our new Breakout game.
Our new Breakout.
For those
game.
of you that do not know,
Yes.
not just Wild West.
Yes.
Not just
Wild West gunslingers.
You're gonna see all kinds of Wild West stuff. No, that's our newest game of Breakout.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
And any other games that we develop in the future, we can do ads that are catered to those types of rooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's fun being able to identify a segment and see and convince them to come play with us. And it's really easy because you all do an amazing job on the operations side by providing an excellent guest experience.
Sure.
I mean, that's evident with our reviews.
Yeah, our guest journey is really important, and let's talk about that just for a minute, because our guest journey might be different than other guest journeys, but understanding, in my opinion, and we call it kind of the hero journey as well, understanding that guest journey is so important because it really starts with the first click on, or the first thing you're typing into Google. So you're typing in escape rooms and you want to pop up first, and then they click on our webpage, and it's all about getting them to the point of sales as fast as possible, getting them hooked, and then they might make a phone call, and then they go in the store. And so all of it is like, this is there from beginning to end, really, really important that we care for them at every level. And you're basically doing that on the front end, and then we're taking the baton once they make the phone call, some kind of physical appearance, then we're taking the baton. It's kind of how I think of it. I don't know.
Yeah, and so I mean, I'm like the anti-marketer in some capacity too, because I hate the terms, the tofu, bofu, mofu, which is top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel talk that goes through.
You're not speaking my language at all.
Yeah, we're talking about CPMs over AAR, like come on, like ARR versus MRR and MER. Like I hate all the acronyms. I hate all that. Like, what's the simplest way to get down to a point?
Right.
So, what's really unique, I think, about with this company is what we're able to do and what we focus on here in our marketing department is really the top of funnel and middle of funnel, which is the first interaction that the customer or guest has with us. I call them customers because they haven't yet become our guests.
Okay, good deal. I like it. No, I'm not strict. There is one manager in our organization. His name is Logan in Louisville, and he gets me every single time. But I get it. Yeah, customer.
So our potential customer, guest.
Okay, gotcha.
So for someone new coming onto our site, we want to know all the information possible about that person, how they got there, why they got there, where did they come from. That it's a Bing, was it Yahoo, was it Google, was it DuckDuckGo, was it whatever? Okay. Was it a text message that they got from a friend, from a Facebook ad or Instagram text, whatever? Yeah. Where did they come from? So that's one of the most important factors for us. But that's what we do a lot of, is that first initial step, top of funnel marketing. Okay. The next aspect of it is that nurture stage, getting them comfortable with our brand. That's where a lot of like our TikTok content, our Instagram content, building up that funny, community almost around it. And people can see what our brand is about, who we are, what games we have, what rooms we have, and allows them to make their decision of, oh, I just saw that kidnapping game where you get handcuffed. Like, that was huge last year. Everyone, so many game masters and managers came to us and said, everyone's talking about the handcuff room. What's the handcuff room? Like, where do I want to play the handcuff room?
Yeah.
I saw it on TikTok, or I saw it wherever, Instagram. And so we got them on TikTok from a video. Now they're calling the stores and asking about the kidnapping.
Right.
And so then that's the handoff. So we did the top of funnel, we did the middle funnel, and now it's the bottom of funnels where that handoff happens, that conversion, that sale. So that's where that takes place. And so you all make it really easy for us to do all 3 steps into that handoff for that conversion sale, which is where I see operations outside of our sales department, but like operations being so easy to just be like, yes, here, because they're so intertwined with all of our content and what goes on. I mean, all of our game masters and managers follow all of our stuff,
right,
and know what we're doing. So it makes it, I think it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is an awesome explanation. I think that's really helpful for everybody to understand, like, how we think of it at the higher level, the kind of visionary level. I think one question that people will have is like, how do you come up with the ideas for TikTok? I mean, that's in my mind. I think people are like, how do you find these creative ideas? Like, where are you going for those?
Yeah, so we have an awesome team for our TikTok content creation team up in Columbus, led by Alex. She's the one who's coming up with a lot of ideas. Generally, though, what we do is we'll provide some parameters. So we'll talk monthly. We'll have a whole content team meeting type thing where it's 2 owners, so Bryce and Josh Sizemore, and myself, and then Faith, Sarah, and Alex, and Monica, and one of our interns, Luke, and we'll all hop on.
It's a big meeting.
It's a big meeting.
Yeah.
This happens once a month. But in those meetings, we'll discuss like where our content, what we're looking to do, where we're looking to drive more people, whether that's, are we looking to get more impressions and just eyeballs on things.
Right.
So look at it as an impression is just a viewing of content. Like, oh, I saw it for a second. There, that's an impression.
Yeah.
Do we want people to convert to a sale, which is clicking on the video into our bio, into our website, multi-step?
Yeah.
Or are we just looking for that person to engage with our content, write a comment underneath,
Sure,
get up in our system?
Yeah.
And so for TikTok, specifically, Alex does a great job of coming up with some of the ideas. We've narrowed down through a lot of trial and error the top content pieces, which is why you see those door videos that we have, where she typically
those really work,
right? They work great.
Yeah, people love them.
They work great.
Yeah.
And so she's typically outside. For those who don't know, she's standing outside a door, overhearing guests that are in the room, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of sometimes.
So you're taking even in that there's like handoff. So you're not just like willy nilly. Looking at, like, you're not scrolling through TikTok and going, oh, everybody's doing this dance, and so we better do this dance. Maybe some of it.
Sometimes.
But really what you're doing is you're taking measurables, and you're saying, based on these measurables, this is where we want to head. And then you're kind of handing it off to people that are spending time in that world that can take those measurables and make them into a creative experience on TikTok or
very
Instagram
much so.
Yeah,
very much so. I mean, I would
good.
say, Alex is an expert when it comes to TikTok in terms of the platform, and just based off of the variety of content we have tried.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of trial and error, and that's one of the big things that I think not only our brands need to continue to be iterating and doing on a constant basis.
Sure.
But is something that other brands, they're trying to crack the TikTok code. I mean, we've grown from 300,000 followers to over 1 million. Well, we're 10,000 followers away from 1 million.
Wow.
On TikTok for Breakout.
Man.
So this week we'll probably hit 1 million followers.
Man, that's awesome.
And when I started in September of 21, I think we were around 300,000 or 200,000. So it's like,
man, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the team has done an incredible job at this.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's really interesting to see how it flows.
Yeah.
And it's not just it is based on like real numbers.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing is that there is a lot of fun, but in order to be a good marketer, it is really about being in the middle and immersed in numbers.
Immersed in numbers and immersed in trends.
Yeah, yeah.
And seeing what's going on, not just in the entertainment world or in escape room world, but across the whole spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at what's happening in the engineering world on social or on print or on whatever, and picking up trends from different sectors or different industries that you see if you can apply to your own.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's interesting because so many people have in their mind that marketing is just about like playing. I think just playing around and shooting some videos and doing some fun stuff. And really, that's like the very end of it. It's like a very small percentage.
Very much
and
so.
It's not coming from that. And it is a lot of grunt work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. I think the marketing gets a bad rap in some degree for being the fun, crazy, all of that.
Yeah.
Like spend as much money as you possibly can. Finance teams hate them. All of these funny memes that are out there about marketing departments. But,
finance teams hate them. Yeah, that's good.
I just saw one today. It was like it was marketing team on one side when I'm like super excited and whatever, and then you have on the other side is just like a really unhappy crying person, and it says finance team when marketing team launches a new campaign or wants to launch, and it's kind of true. It's like when you come up with an idea and you want to spend $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on an idea, and it's like,
and someone like Jimmy's like, what are you doing? Why are you spending this money? We got to talk about this. Like, Jason, there was a line item here. Do you know what marketing's doing? Do you know how many times Jimmy comes to me and says, Jason, have you talked to marketing? I'm like, I don't know, I haven't. Like, do you know what they're doing over here? I'm like, no, I don't, but it's cool. Like, I like, for me, I don't care.
As long as our ROAS, our ROAS is good, I think Bryce is pretty happy as long as we keep that number in a good ratio.
Gosh. Maybe I should have Jimmy on here next.
Oh my.
Yeah. He'll have different
point, counterpoint. That could be a podcast.
That's good. I like it. So let's talk. Oh, by the way, are we keeping track of time? How are we doing on time? We're about 17 minutes. Okay, cool. We're doing good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you. So you started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
What did you do beforehand?
So immediately before this, I was VP of marketing and sales for a niche called Magazine in the luxury market, and then before that,
a magazine in a luxury department.
A luxury magazine.
It's
called Upscale Living Magazine.
What is a luxury magazine?
It's called Upscale Living Magazine.
Man, I feel like I need
Florida.
to get this magazine. I feel very luxurious.
So that was a lot of cold calling like a lot of. I had a sales
really
team
rich
of
people.
Like Lamborghini, a lot of rich brands. So like Lamborghini,
brands.
Louis Vuitton.
I gotcha, yeah.
Dealing with ODM or dealing with huge multinational marketing firms out of New York and California and all that kind of stuff. Working to create, multi-year campaigns, print campaigns right during COVID too. Like right in the heart of COVID. And it was a tough job.
Interesting.
I had a team of 4 sales reps with me, so that I built up. So it was fun. That was a good one. Before that, though, is where I spent a majority of my a good chunk of my marketing career was in the bourbon industry. So I was director of business operations for one of the largest American whiskey magazines in the world. After what Whiskey Mag or American Whiskey Mag? No, American Whiskey Mag started when we were. Basically went Whiskey Magazine, which covered Scotch, and then it went Bourbon Review, which covered only American whiskeys.
Let's talk about that just for a minute.
Yeah.
People might be interested in this. Okay, let's talk about the difference between Scotch, bourbon, and whiskey.
Okay.
Can you give us like a 2-minute rundown of what that is?
So at the very top, you look at it as Scotch and bourbon are both whiskeys. So at the top you have whiskey. And people are probably freak out on me about saying with an EY or just a Y and all that. It's all whiskey.
It's all whiskey.
Then you have Scotch, which is made in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have bourbon, which is made in the United States.
So it's not just Kentucky.
No, it's made in the United States.
Do people argue about this?
Yes, they do.
Because I thought bourbon had to be from Kentucky.
No, it can be made anywhere in the United States. It has to follow a certain set of guidelines and rules.
Right. And what are those?
50. Oh, shoot.
You can
charred American oak barrels, I believe. So it has to be made in America. It has to be barrels have to be oak, specific oak, and then the third big one is 51% corn.
51% corn, yeah.
And then after that, there's you can do the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, like all of bourbon, and each one is a different thing. But those are like the ABCs. So America, barrel, corn. D is, I forget what the D is, but
that's bourbon. But
that's bourbon.
When you're talking like Jack Daniel's,
Tennessee whiskey,
what's
and
that?
And that's its own set of rules in terms of how that's produced.
It's got to be in Tennessee?
That one has to be in Tennessee.
Wow, okay.
So you can have bourbon be made anywhere. You can have Kentucky straight bourbon is made in Kentucky.
Okay.
If it has the front part on there. I can't have Kentucky straight bourbon made in Texas.
Okay.
You can have Texas bourbon.
What
like
makes
Balcones.
it unique in Kentucky? Is it the water?
Limestone.
Yeah,
the water.
Yeah.
Water content is very unique, and also the temperature.
Yeah.
So because we have all 4 seasons, it allows for the the barrel to expand and contract, where you get the flavor from the wood, from the oak, inside that barrel, that maturation process.
Okay. Wow. All right. I think we got pretty deep in there.
Had to go back.
It is it's so fascinating though. I think so many people have want to understand, and there's so much to understand, so many layers to that industry. So before we get off of that, give us your favorite 3 bourbons.
Oh, top 3 favorite bourbons. I'm a big Michter's fan. So Michter's out of Louisville. Michter's probably 10 years, one of my favorites.
Okay.
I will
Michter
also
10 year.
Yeah, Michter 10 year. My favorite, just like easy going drinker that you can't get in Kentucky, but you can pretty much find anywhere else, everywhere, is Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. And then I have a lot of Weller Special Reserve at home that I kind of drink that a lot too. But in terms of like my favorite high end, super duper luxury one, again, I'd have to go with like a Michter's 20 year, which is a ridiculous expensive bottle that I don't even have anymore.
It is so
or
crazy.
Toasted Barrel.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. I would have to say I've tried over 700-800 different types of bourbon, and I think it's an incredible industry. I think that it's a lot of fun to be able to try so many different things. After a while, though, I feel like you skew towards like hotter, which is higher proof bourbons, just because you want to get push the envelope a little bit more in terms of your palate and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But Buffalo Trace, Michter's, those 2 you can't really go wrong.
Yeah, Blanton's is one of my favorite.
Yeah, Blanton's is awesome. I love Blanton's.
Yep.
I would also throw in there Woodford Reserve Double Oak.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Tastes like basically any product that I think coming from Brown Forman. So that's including your Woodford, but also Jack Daniel's has a very similar yeast. So it tastes like bananas and dark chocolate to me.
Interesting.
Next time, try it.
That's so
bananas
fascinating.
and dark chocolate.
And that's kind of like trying wine. If you're ever around people that know wine, they're like, I taste bits of rock and sand and
leather,
leather and all these things, and you're like, what?
Periwinkle.
And it's almost like it's okay no matter what you say. I taste daffodils, and it's like, you must. So
there's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer.
That's the beauty of it all. Like
it's so funny.
Some people make it like. There's some people in the industry, in both wine industry and in bourbon industry, that kind of get made fun of for, what they express or taste, but everyone's palate's different. So it's like, I taste ficus,
That's
fern.
So funny.
It's like, okay, bud.
Yeah. So you worked for this magazine, and then you came over with us. That's a transition.
Yeah.
What would you say is something that you, a couple of things that you learned in your past experience that you brought here that has helped us?
Yeah. Testing, test everything. I think that's one of the
test the bourbon.
Test the bourbon.
Just joking, yeah.
Test on the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
The importance of data and analytics. I didn't realize I guess I learned the importance of data when I was actually director of philanthropy for the United Way here in Lexington. And the reason why I learned the importance of data was by looking at, because I was in charge of major gift networks, major gift fundraising for the United Way.
Yeah.
So I had to look at a lot of net worths of a lot of people in the 14 counties around here and assess that. And so from there, I took that into the bourbon world and then the luxury magazine world and carried it into here of just how important data is to make decisions and to not just be like, oh, my gut tells me to do this and let's just go spend $10,000 on this or $100,000 on this. No, what does the data tell you? The data tells you this. So that's probably one of the most important things I learned. Also, teams, building teams, working with high quality people, definitely be able to take your time in hiring someone and finding the right person for the job and our team. And I think we've done that with, Faith for Breakout and Sarah for Activate.
Yeah.
And, that's definitely one thing that I would say that I learned a lot from, because I've had some bad hires in the past before here and can absolutely destroy a department, a team, a company. One bad hire it can be detrimental.
Man, it doesn't matter what industry or what department that we always go back to that one.
Yeah.
Hiring is just essential. If you don't hire well, you're not going to be successful. But if you hire well, then a lot of the work is done for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. It is really interesting. Well, let's spend a few minutes at the end here trying to get to know Will the person. So we talked. We have talked. Yeah, I mean you're special to us, and I think people on the podcast that are listening in our organization want to know who you are. And by the way, we're here at the warehouse if you didn't know, and we're just in the middle of the day. So hopefully it hasn't been too loud or too many people walking by. I think it's working. They swear. Ben and Andrew swear that these mics are so good that it doesn't matter.
They're just perfect.
Yeah. So anybody can yell, apparently, and it won't matter. So we'll see. This is a good test.
Or they can cut it out.
Or they can
cut out the background.
Or they can cut it out. It's just more work for them.
Just more work, right?
So okay, Will. What do you like? I think all of our questions just left. Ben swore that this wouldn't happen, but it did happen. So as you came here a year and a half ago, you were not married, and now you're married. So tell us a little bit about like your family life and what you're doing.
Yeah. So my wife and I got married last June.
Congrats.
Thank you. 2022 June.
Yeah.
So that was absolutely incredible. Words can't describe how awesome married life has been for me. Just for those who aren't looking through on the video, I have a smile from ear to ear right now. So, love my wife very much, Trisha.
Yeah.
So that's been incredible. Married life. I think it's also been provided like a really good grounding for me, just in terms of identifying like the importance of things in my life. And but yeah, day-to-day life for me outside of work.
So you recommend marriage?
I recommend marriage. Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
So what do you guys do together? What do you like to do?
Yeah. So she works a pretty time-consuming job and everything like that in the medical sales world. But when we do have time together, on the weekends, we love to relax. We love to travel. We have family all over the country. Mm-hmm. So we spend a lot of our time traveling to either Cincinnati to see her family, Charleston to see my family, Wyoming, Florida, all over. We're going to Ireland in May.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Just randomly, or you have family there? Or
so my mom I have big Irish heritage, and my mom had a trip from COVID when COVID was super prevalent.
Yeah.
And going on, pandemic, I should say. And her trip got canceled, and she invited us a few months ago if we wanted to go, and we're like, absolutely, why wouldn't we want to go to Ireland? So we spent a lot of time traveling.
That's cool.
Spent a lot of time during football season watching football.
Who's your team?
Cincinnati Bengals. Yep.
Man, I grew up and have always followed the Colts, and I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. And when he moved to Denver, I started kind of rooting for Denver as
Yeah.
well. But the Colts haven't been the same since. So in the last couple of
No.
years, I started like getting interested in the Bengals. So I'm kind of with you. I rooted for them this year.
Yeah, we went to this year was a wild year. Last year we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That was a last minute decision. That was a lot of fun.
I
But,
remember you going. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trisha and I love to do that kind of thing. We have 2 dogs at home too, so we love spending a lot of
Okay.
time with our
What kind of dogs?
We have an Australian Shepherd and an English Setter,
Oh, okay.
Cody and Henry.
Yeah,
Yeah, we give them human names.
that's awesome.
I love how the debate with some
Yeah.
pet owners and can't give them human names.
Yeah.
You absolutely can.
What do you have? Do you guys spend time like watching shows together, reading books together?
Oh,
any
yeah.
of
Yeah, we spend a lot of time watching shows together. I'm a big reader, but and she is too. But generally, we read different things.
You got any recommendations? Shows?
Shows, Ooh, I'm a
Movies?
big Witcher. Like
Oh, okay.
that whole. Used to be. I guess I still am kind of a gamer.
No.
So the
Kind
whole
of a
Witcher
gamer.
series, MMORPGs to be exact.
Okay. Interesting.
Or just RPGs in general. Since
Yeah.
it's very small. I started getting the free to play MMORPGs, but that's neither here nor there. First player shooters every once in a while. So like your Halos, your Call of Duties, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Destiny 2. But the Witcher series on Netflix, I love. What other things on Netflix? Right now, we just watched the Murdaugh Murders last night.
Okay.
About the whole thing of like, oh, it's crazy. You have to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about basically about this. It's called Murdaugh Murders Southern Scandal,
Okay.
and it's about this attorney in Hampton County, South Carolina, who basically killed a lot of people, and his family was like a really well-to-do family, and now he's on trial right now for killing his wife and his
Oh
son.
my gosh.
Yeah,
This is on Netflix?
yeah, but
Man.
it's like not even. It's wild. I mean, I would definitely watch it. It's fun. So we watch a lot of like crime-centered documentary type things, true crime together, I would say, and then the Bachelor. We do watch The Bachelor together.
You watched The Bachelor.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I will say that. I'll throw that out
I
there.
think I watched some of Love is Blind with Catherine a little bit.
haven't
And I
seen
just
that.
I have such a hard time watching those things.
Oh, it's like that cringe moment, right?
Yeah,
You're just like,
well, the whole thing is like cringe moment for me. Like,
Yeah,
from beginning to
I don't
end.
do well
just,
with cringe.
I struggle with the whole thing. But it's interesting. At one point, I used to watch the Kardashians with my daughter, and it was just like this weird experience of, like, I didn't care, but then I started caring. I was like, what is happening to me? Am I becoming a middle-aged woman or what? So anyway, yeah. So thanks for the recommendation. Everybody's always, interested in what shows. And the one person that I do know that knows everything, has probably watched everything that you've just said, is Jimmy Doyle, who we've already spoken of today once. But he literally, and this goes for anyone. If you want a recommendation for something or want to know if something's good, don't trust him 100% of the time, but 99% of the time, trust him. One time he told me to watch something, and he was like, you got to watch this. And he had told me, I swear he said, we watched like first season, and we were like, this is awful. And I said, man, Jimmy, I can't believe you made me watch this. And he said, I never seen that. And I was like, what? I watched this because you told me it was good. And he said, no. I said, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it might be good. I never watched it. I was like, man, I kept waiting for it to get good. Anyway, so I know everybody's always looking for recommendations on that stuff.
oh yeah.
Will, before we go, I think we have all these like young managers and young people that work for us. What kind of advice would you give them? They're just getting started in their career and probably more in the management or wanting to grow with our company. What have you learned along the way that you would say, if you could go back and give yourself advice when you were first getting started, what would you tell yourself?
I would say try a lot of different things. Just because somebody says or somebody wants you to go be this, do this,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you. Take the time to try and experiment and do a lot of different things to find what you love,
Hmm.
especially if you're in your 20s coming out of college. You know, I think a lot of people straight out of college take their lives so seriously, and you're like,
Yeah.
dude, you're 21, like go have some fun,
Right.
go like
Yeah.
just live that.
Yeah.
But and I believe that with work too. You know, I think try different methods inside of work. Like if you're a GM, if you're a general manager, read about different management methods. Find one. There's 30 of them that you can rattle off. Both of you and I could probably rattle off the top of our heads in
Right.
terms of management strategies.
Sure.
But find one that you resonate with, that sets it within you.
Hmm.
And don't force things. If it's not working for some reason, generally there's another way to do it. Don't be so singularly focused on trying to get it done one way when it's not working. Be curious, ask questions. Would be the last thing. Or just actually ask more questions. That's
man.
one of the biggest things I would say for me.
I love that. That has been huge on my radar for the last year. Just be curious.
That's what I always
Curiosity
tell.
cures so much. Yeah.
Tell Faith and Sarah is like, ask questions.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get mad at you for
Yep.
asking me questions.
Yep.
And you know, there are days when we don't have any questions. There are days when there are 100 questions.
Yep.
But I will never get mad at anyone on my team for asking me questions.
Yeah.
For clarity and trust but verify type of situation. But
And that's a good rule of thumb too when you're thinking of working with someone that is on your team that is working for you, is instead of jumping to conclusions and giving advice or telling them, ask questions. When someone doesn't do something exactly the way that you thought they should do it, instead of just going to them and saying, why did you do that? Just say, let's talk about this process. What were you thinking here? And kind of understand what they were doing and how they were thinking. Just is a really good practice across the board. So I appreciate you saying that. I think that's a really good principle and a good way to close this
Perfect,
episode.
yeah.
Thanks so much for being
Thank
on here,
you.
man.
I appreciate it.
So glad to have you around, and I hope you're here with us for a very long time.
I
And
appreciate that. I hope so
maybe
too.
we can have some bourbon together soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's crack open a bottle.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.